Good morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Small Brain Pilot channel. Now, I don't think today's video needs an introduction. I don't know if you can tell with the Burj Khalifa in the background or the FlyDubai livery in the forefront, but we are parked today at Dubai International Airport in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Today we're taking a 2-hour hop over to Pakistan. We're not flying to our usual destination though. We're headed to Quetta. Today's flight plan is extremely interesting. We're going to be flying over the Arabian Gulf, and then we're going to be flying over Afghanistan and coming into Quetta. The approach into Quetta is absolutely beautiful, and through experimentation I this one of the few airports in Pakistan where the weather, at least in the sim, allows me to shoot a visual approach. So really looking forward to that, really looking forward to flying this 737 today. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the walk around and into the video. Alright lads, here we are in the cockpit of the Boeing 737. As you can see, it's cold and dark because like always, like a true man, I always start my aircraft from cold and dark. So without further ado, I'm going to get the aircraft configured up, get our flight plan loaded into the FMC, get the performance numbers in, crunch all the numbers, and I will see you guys once we're ready for pushback and APU startup. Alright folks, I have the aircraft configured. We are ready for APU startup now, but before we go ahead and start up the APU, let's just review our flight plan real quick. We're going to be taking off runway 30 right at Dubai via the Damwe 4 Foxtrot departure. It's basically straight out and turning to our right, heading towards Pakistan. We're going to be landing in Quetta using the ILS 13 left via the Isha 1 Foxtrot arrival, if I'm not mistaken. We can just check that. Isha 1 Bravo arrival, sorry. Yep. And today's flight time is going to be 817 nautical miles distance, about 2 hours and 15 minutes worth of flying. We're going to be taking off runway 30 right, like I mentioned, and yeah, these are V speeds, rotate at 142 knots. So with that being said, we're ready for APU startup. Oh yeah, cruising altitude is 35,000 feet. But yeah, with that being said, we're ready for APU startup. We can come up here, flick the APU switch to on, send it to the start position, and the APU should start up nicely. And yeah, in the Boeing, we know the APU is ready for us to use when this lights up blue. Then we can set the aircraft to APU power. Anyways, the APU is starting up now, and once it's on, we can get ourselves pushed back. Once the thing is lit up blue, we know we can switch the aircraft to APU power. The aircraft is now on the APU power, and we can turn on the APU bleed. With that being said, folks, we can disconnect all ground services and get ourselves pushed back and ready for departure, ready for taxi and engine start. Alright, I think the pushback driver is definitely getting fired for that dodgy ass pushback, but regardless, we're going to forgive him and forget. With that being said, now that we've pushed back, we're ready for engine start. So we can come up here, we can turn on the anti-collision light, which is basically the beacon light. We can set the ignition to the left side, set this to ground, come down here, observe the engine instruments. You can even hear, once we see N1 rising, we can throw in the fuel. Once the startup for engine number 1 has reset, we can repeat the same process for engine number 2. Just come here, flip the ignition to the right, if I can get the quick spot, there we go. Set this to ground, come down here, and again, just observe the engine instruments. And while we wait for the engine to spool up, we can also set flaps for departure. So flaps for departure today are flaps 10. So flaps 1, 2, 5, and 10. With the flaps being set and the engines both spooled up, we can come up here, we can switch the aircraft to its own power. Turn off the APU bleed. Turn off the APU, turn on the taxi lights. Turn on the packs to auto. And turn on the yaw damper. With that being said, folks, we're ready for taxi. So I'm going to taxi over to runway 30 right, and I'll see you guys once we're ready for departure out of Dubai.
We're about to begin the safety demonstration, and we need your attention while we take you through the safety equipment on board this Boeing 737-800. You'll find a safety card in your seat pocket indicating the exit routes, oxygen masks, and life jackets. It also shows the brace position you must adopt if you hear brace, brace.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw, I've just configured all the lights in the aircraft. We are clear to line up on the runway. There's no arriving traffic right now. The traffic just landed on runway 30 left, as you saw there towards the end of the taxi. But I don't want to wait around until another aircraft's landing on 30 right as well. I'm going to clear ourselves for immediate takeoff. As you can see, lots of Emirates aircraft at the gate. Quite a busy day here at Dubai. Anyways, folks, enough chatting. Time for us to head to Quetta. So, there we go, we're lined up on the runway. 50%. Engines come to life. No issues, no errors, no master cautions. We're looking good. Takeoff continue. Toga, thrust set. Let's go to Quetta. 80 knots. Check.
Rotate.
Rotate. Gently pull.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Accelerating nicely. A notch of flaps can come up as well. There we go. Beautiful departure, ladies and gentlemen. That is us having departed out of Dubai. I'm just going to hand fly the aircraft for a while. And I'll see you guys once we're ready for short final at Quetta. Alright, ladies and gents, here we are on short final at Quetta. We are about 1,000 feet from the runway, 1,300 feet. I'm going to disconnect the autopilot. I'm going to fly the aircraft in manually. Because, yeah, you rarely get good weather approaches here in Pakistan. So the ones that I do get, you bet your bum cheeks I'm flying those visual. Alright, visual.
1,000.
Right, I'm just focused on this. I'm not even looking outside. I'm just looking at the instruments. I'm going to be kind of sterile cockpit because I really want to get a good landing here. We're bit of a headwind coming. Still not looking outside the cockpit. Zoned in on the instruments. Just trusting the ILS system.
500.
Still not looking up.
400.
Alright, now we're gonna visualize with the runway.
300.
300.
200.
200. Disconnect throttles.
100. 50.
Idle.
30. 20. 10.
And that is butter into Quetta from Dubai. Alright, not my best center line, but it was one of my smoothest landings. One of a very smooth landing. Beautiful view here at Quetta. Decelling nicely. Thrusters engaged. Alright, reversers can come in. And we can hit the brakes, disconnect the auto brakes. Alright guys, I'm gonna get the aircraft slowed down and I'll get ourselves taxied to the gate, and I'll see you guys once we're ready for engine shutdown at Quetta.
القدمين في وضعها المعتاد. سوف تجدون جميع تعليمات السلامة في البطاقة الموجودة في جيب المقعد أمامكم. ننصحكم بقراءتها بانتباه قبل الإقلاع. نشكر انتباهكم ونتمنى لكم رحلة ممتعة. To do so, strap to tighten.
Alright, ladies and gents, since we've made it to the gate here at Quetta, we can come up here. Since I turned on the APU, we can switch the aircraft to APU power. We can turn off the anti-collision light as we're about to turn off the engines, turn off the taxi lights, and we can cut the fuel to the engines. So ladies and gents, as our engines cool down, with that we have concluded another flight here on the Small Brain Pilot channel. Today's flight was roughly around 2 hour 15 minute block time as predicted. We've landed here in Quetta from Dubai. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. Any flight routes or anything like that, leave them in the comments below and I'll try my best to get around to them. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Small Brain Pilot, signing out. Happy flying.